The mansion was silent, but Adrian Cole's mind was anything but. The billionaire CEO, known across the city for his cold demeanor and ruthless business instincts, lay perfectly still on the velvet couch in his private study, pretending to sleep. The soft ticking of the vintage clock echoed across the room as he waited, eyes closed, breathing controlled, listening carefully for the footsteps he knew would appear at this hour. For weeks he had noticed something strange. Every night, long after the staff went home, the shy maid Lily slipped quietly into the study. She never asked for anything, never looked him in the eye, and barely spoke above a whisper. But something about her trembled presence, always moving gently around him like she was trying to hide her own heart, made him curious, uneasy, and strangely connected. Tonight, he wanted to understand why she came, and what she did when she thought no one was watching. He never expected what he would witness. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and stories that touch the heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Whispers of Kindness. Your support keeps these emotional stories alive. As the grandfather clock struck 11, the door creaked open. Light footsteps entered, careful, almost floating. Adrian's heart thudded, but he held his breath steady. Lily moved like a shadow, small, delicate, dressed in her simple uniform, her hair tied into a loose braid that had fallen slightly from a long day's work. Her hands trembled as she set down a small tray of tea she always made for him, even though he never asked. He wondered why she did these little things, these quiet acts of care in a home where no one cared for anyone. And then, he heard it, the softest whisper, like a confession meant only for the night. "I hope today wasn't too hard for you, you always look so tired." Adrian froze inside. No one spoke to him like that. No one cared if he was tired, lonely, or burdened. They feared him, respected him, obeyed him, but never cared. Lily didn't know he could hear her, and yet her voice carried a tenderness that made his chest tighten. She moved closer and, to his disbelief, gently pulled a blanket from the armchair. Her shy hands shook as she draped it over him with such slow, fragile care, as if she feared she might break him. Adrian felt something he hadn't felt in years, warmth. Not from the blanket, but from the touch of someone who saw him not as a CEO, not as a billionaire, but as a human being. When Lily brushed a stray lock of hair from his forehead, her fingers quivering, he almost opened his eyes. But he forced himself to stay still. He wasn't ready to face what he was feeling. Not yet. In the following days, Adrian's mind kept drifting back to that night. To her whisper, to her care, to the way her presence softened the air around him. He watched her quietly from afar now, noticing details he never paid attention to before, the way she tucked her hands into her sleeves when nervous, the way she smiled faintly at flowers but hid it quickly, as if she didn't deserve joy, the way she worked harder than anyone, always in the background, never asking for anything. And slowly, he began to notice something else. She was hurting. Her eyes carried the exhaustion of someone who bore more than their share of life's weight. Her shoulders carried invisible burdens. And when she thought no one was looking, she stood still for a moment, clutching her hands against her chest, as if gathering the strength to keep going. One evening, he overheard two maids whispering. Lily sent most of her salary to her younger brother to keep him in school. She lived in a tiny rented room, skipped meals often to save money, and still came to work every day with quiet dedication. Adrian felt something crack within him. He had wealth beyond measure, comfort beyond reason, but this girl, who had nothing, gave more kindness than anyone he had ever met. The next night, he pretended to sleep again. He didn't know why. Maybe he wanted to hear her voice again. Maybe he wanted to feel that gentle care one more time. But this night, when Lily entered, something was different. Her hands trembled more than usual. She moved slower. Her breathing was uneven, as if she had been crying. She placed the tea down and stood over him longer than before. And then she whispered something that broke him completely. "You remind me of my father. He worked himself to exhaustion too. I couldn't save him. I don't want anyone else to feel alone like he did." Adrian's heart clenched. She wasn't just kind, she was surviving pain of her own. Her voice wavered as she softly adjusted the blanket over him again. "You deserve rest too, even if no one tells you that." Something inside Adrian shattered. He could no longer lie still. He opened his eyes. Lily gasped, stepping back in shock, her face flushing with fear. She stumbled over apologies, trembling like she expected punishment. But Adrian sat up slowly, for once completely vulnerable, his usual cold mask gone. He told her he had heard everything, not just tonight, but before. And instead of anger, he thanked her. Those simple words stunned her into silence. No one ever thanked her. Not for anything. From that night on, their lives began to intertwine in ways neither expected. Adrian began noticing her more openly, speaking to her gently, offering her moments of ease. Lily tried to avoid special treatment, insisting she was only doing her job. But the truth was, Adrian found himself drawn to her compassion, and she, despite her fear, found unexpected comfort in his presence. The mansion slowly shifted from cold marble halls to a place where warmth peeked through cracks. But life doesn't change without testing hearts first. One afternoon, Lily collapsed in the hallway. Overwork, malnutrition, exhaustion, it all caught up with her at once. Adrian carried her to the guest room himself, panic gripping him. When the doctor told him she worked herself to the point of breaking, his guilt grew heavy. He stayed by her side the entire night, watching her sleep the way she had watched over him. And as he sat there, looking at her fragile features, something became painfully clear: she gave too much and received too little. She cared for others while no one cared for her. When Lily woke, she panicked again, embarrassed by the trouble she caused. But Adrian gently stopped her from sitting up. He confessed how much her kindness had changed him, how her simple gestures brought life into a world he had long abandoned emotionally. Lily's eyes filled with tears she tried to hide. She wasn't used to being valued. From that day forward, Adrian made sure her life changed. Not with charity, not with pity, but with genuine respect and opportunities. She suddenly had proper meals, lighter duties, time off, support for her brother's education, and a safe place to stay. Lily protested at first, but Adrian assured her she had earned every bit of kindness with the way she carried her heart. As days turned into weeks, their bond grew deeper, unmistakable, and quietly beautiful. In time, Lily's shy smile returned. Adrian found himself smiling too, something his staff whispered they hadn't seen in years. With Lily, he learned softness. With Adrian, she learned safety. Together, they created something tender, healing, and unexpected, a companionship born from small acts of unseen kindness. One evening, as they stood on the balcony overlooking the city, Lily shyly admitted she never imagined she could matter to someone like him. Adrian responded with a truth that made her eyes glisten: she mattered long before she knew it. Because sometimes, the smallest acts of kindness rewrite the coldest stories. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, subscribe, and comment on this video. Your engagement helps Whispers of Kindness reach more people who need emotional, inspiring stories. Special request: before you go, comment below. Kindness changes everything.